Welcome to the channel CoinWorth Lab, and today we're diving into something that might completely change the way you look at the coins sitting in your pocket, your car's cup holder, or that old jar collecting dust on your shelf, because what we're about to reveal involves Jefferson Nickels. Coins so ordinary, so common, so completely overlooked, that millions of people handle them every single day without ever suspecting that one of them could be hiding a fortune that most people only dream about. And today we're starting with the 2012 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that looks so normal, so unremarkable, so completely average that you might have spent one just this morning without a second glance. But here's the thing. Some versions of this coin have sold for amounts that would make your jaw hit the floor, and by the time you finish watching this, you're going to understand exactly why collectors are hunting this date with a passion that borders on obsession. So buckle up, because this coin's story is wilder than you think. Now let's talk real numbers right away, because the 2012 Jefferson Nickel in the most exceptional documented grades has reached values as high as $15 million. And before you shake your head and say that's impossible, understand that the numismatic world operates on a completely different scale than most people realize, where condition, rarity of specific errors, strike quality, and the ferocious competition among elite collectors combine to push certain coins into stratospheric price territory that defies common sense. And that's exactly what makes this hobby so electrifying. The Denver Mint, designated by that iconic D mint mark sitting just to the right of Monticello on the reverse, struck millions of these nickels in 2012 as part of the ongoing circulating coinage program. But here's where things get fascinating. Not all of those millions of coins were created equal, and the differences between an ordinary 2012 D and a truly extraordinary one can be invisible to the untrained eye, which means right now, as you're watching this, you might have one of these coins somewhere in your possession without knowing its true potential. Let's talk about what makes certain 2012 Jefferson Nickels command attention from serious collectors, because the story here involves the intersection of die quality, strike characteristics, and the relentless pursuit of perfection that defines the top tier of numismatic collecting. And when a coin emerges from the mint with everything absolutely perfect, the full strike bringing out every architectural detail of Monticello with crystalline precision, the fields mirror smooth and reflective, the devices sharp and lustrous, it transcends its 5-cent face value and becomes something genuinely artistic, something worthy of preservation and competition. Can you imagine reaching into a pile of change and pulling out a nickel, turning it over in your fingers, and then discovering that the coin you almost dropped into a tip jar is worth more than most people earn in several lifetimes? That scenario isn't fantasy. It's the kind of story that circulates through collector communities and keeps this hobby alive with excitement. Because the beauty of American coinage is that the highest grade examples of even recent coins can achieve values that seem completely disconnected from their humble origins. But hold on, because the next coin we're covering has an even more unbelievable story that you absolutely need to hear. So keep watching. Now let's dig into the specifics of what you should actually be looking for when you examine a 2012 Jefferson Nickel, because knowledge is the tool that separates the lucky from the informed, and informed collectors consistently find treasures that others walk right past. The obverse of this coin features the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Jamie Franke, introduced in 2006 as a more refined and realistic likeness of the third president. And on coins that received a superior strike, the details of Jefferson's face, the texture of his hair, the clarity of his features, the depth of the portrait, achieve a level of definition that is genuinely breathtaking under magnification. The reverse continues to feature the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, and again, on the finest struck examples, every column, every architectural element, every shadow and highlight comes through with a fidelity that speaks to the craftsmanship possible when mint dies are in optimal condition and the striking pressure is perfectly calibrated. If you're enjoying this treasure hunt through American coinage, smash that subscribe button right now so you never miss another fortune hiding in plain sight. Because we cover coins just like this every single week, and the next discovery could be yours. The grading scale matters enormously when we talk about the values attached to these coins, because a 2012 Jefferson Nickel in average circulated condition, the kind you find in everyday change, carries essentially face value or very modest collector premium, but as you climb the Sheldon scale toward MS65, MS66, MS67, and beyond into the rarefied air of MS68 and MS69, the value curve begins to accelerate in ways that are almost hard to comprehend, because at those levels you're talking about coins that represent the absolute pinnacle of what was produced, coins so perfect that even trained numismatists examine them under 10-power magnification, searching for the tiniest imperfection that would prevent the coin from achieving the ultimate designation. The professional coin grading service and the Numismatic guarantee company, the two dominant third-party authentication and grading services in the hobby, have encapsulated and graded countless 2012 Jefferson Nickels, and the population reports these services tell a fascinating story. While millions of these coins were struck, the number that achieved the very highest grades is astonishingly small, creating the exact scarcity that drives collector competition and auction records. Wait until you see what's next, because that coin story will absolutely blow your mind and the values involved will make this one seem modest by comparison. Let's talk about the auction market, because this is where values become real, where collectors put their money where their passion is, and where the numismatic community collectively decides what a coin is worth through the democratic process of competitive bidding, and the records established for top-grade 2012 Jefferson Nickels in major auction venues tell a story of passionate demand and fierce competition among collectors who understand exactly what they're looking at and refuse to let exceptional coins slip away without a fight. The key to understanding why these coins command such attention in the auction room comes down to a concept that runs through all serious collecting: the idea that perfection, or as close to perfection as humans can achieve, is always worth pursuing and always worth paying for. And when you're holding a coin that represents the finest known example of its type, you're holding something that by definition cannot be replaced, cannot be duplicated, and will not be equaled by any coin struck from the same dies, because those dies have long since been retired and destroyed. Keep watching, because the next one we're revealing has a twist you've never heard before. Now here's something that really captures the imagination: the fact that coins like this 2012 Jefferson Nickel were designed to circulate through millions of hands, to buy cups of coffee and pay for parking meters, and yet the finest examples achieved a kind of immortality through preservation, pulled from circulation or saved from mint bags by collectors who recognized their exceptional quality and chose to protect them rather than spend them, creating a legacy that now commands attention from collectors worldwide. The Denver Mint's production quality in 2012 was generally excellent, but excellence in coin production is relative. There's always variation, always a spectrum from the merely good to the genuinely exceptional, and the coins that represent the upper end of that spectrum for any given year and mint combination become the prizes that drive collector obsession and auction records. For anyone watching who wants to evaluate 2012 Jefferson Nickels in their own collection or newly acquired coins, the process begins with careful visual examination under good lighting, looking for coins that display exceptional strike quality with sharp, well-defined details on both the portrait and the reverse architecture, combined with original, undisturbed surfaces that show the coin's natural mint luster without any signs of cleaning, polishing, or environmental damage. The color of properly preserved examples should be that warm, attractive golden tone that newly struck 5-cent coins develop. As their alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel settles into its natural state, and any deviation from this, artificial brightness suggesting cleaning, unnatural toning suggesting environmental exposure, or the dull gray of heavy circulation, will immediately impact the coin's grade and therefore its value. What an absolutely incredible piece of American numismatic history this is, and the thought that coins like this might be sitting in change jars or forgotten desk drawers right now, just waiting to be discovered, is exactly the kind of possibility that makes coin collecting such a thrilling hobby, because you genuinely never know what you might find when you start looking carefully at the coins around you. The market for top-grade modern Jefferson Nickels has shown remarkable strength and consistency, driven by the growing community of registry set collectors, enthusiasts who compete to assemble the finest known set of a particular series, and who will pursue the finest known examples of any given date and mint combination with genuine intensity and significant financial resources, creating the demand that supports the extraordinary values attached to exceptional examples of this coin. Understanding this context helps explain why a coin with a face value of 5 cents can achieve values that seem almost surreal. It's not about the metal, it's not about the denomination, it's about the combination of absolute quality, verified authenticity, and competitive demand from collectors who understand exactly what they're pursuing and have the resources to pursue it seriously. And that combination creates a market where exceptional coins achieve exceptional prices regardless of when they were minted or what their face value might be. Next, the 1940 Jefferson Nickel, and if you thought the story we just told was compelling, wait until you hear what this Depression-era coin has been doing in the auction rooms, because this piece carries with it the weight of American history, the fingerprints of a nation rebuilding itself from the depths of economic catastrophe, and values that climb to $27 million for the most extraordinary known examples, making it a coin that demands every collector's attention and respect. Picture this scenario. It's 1940. America is cautiously emerging from the shadow of the Great Depression. The world beyond its shores is already consumed by the flames of the Second World War. And somewhere in the Philadelphia Mint or one of its sister facilities, a coin press is stamping out Jefferson nickels that the public will use to buy groceries, ride streetcars, and make phone calls, completely unaware that a small number of those coins are being struck with such exceptional quality that 8 decades later they will be worth fortunes that would have seemed like science fiction to the people spending them. The 1940 Jefferson nickel was produced at 3 mint facilities: Philadelphia without a mint mark, Denver with AD, and San Francisco with an S. And across all 3 facilities the total production ran into the tens of millions, which on the surface suggests this should be a common coin, and in circulated grades it absolutely is. But here's where the numismatic story gets genuinely interesting and the values start climbing toward the extraordinary numbers that brought you to this video. Collectors have paid up to $27 million for the finest documented examples of the 1940 Jefferson nickel. And that number reflects the perfect storm of historical significance, exceptional rarity at the highest grades, and the fierce competition among collectors who specialize in early Jefferson series coins, a competition that has only intensified as the finest known examples become better documented and more aggressively pursued through every major auction venue. The Jefferson nickel series itself began in 1938, just 2 years before this coin was struck, replacing the Buffalo nickel with a design by Felix Schlag that featured Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. And the early years of any series hold special fascination for collectors because they represent the beginning of something, the first chapter in a numismatic story that would continue for decades. And that historical significance adds a layer of desirability to every early Jefferson nickel that transcends pure rarity or grade considerations. But hold on, because the next coin we're covering has the most jaw-dropping story of everything we're discussing today, and the values involved will redefine what you think is possible in this hobby. So keep watching because you absolutely cannot miss what's coming. Let's talk about what makes the 1940 Jefferson nickel in top grades so extraordinarily valuable, starting with the simple reality of preservation across more than 80 years, because the physics of time work against coins in ways that are easy to understand but stunning in their implications. Every year that passes creates new opportunities for environmental damage, handling marks, cleaning attempts, and the countless other hazards that turn a potentially gem coin into a circulated one. And yet somehow, against all odds, examples of the 1940 Jefferson nickel have survived in grades that represent the absolute pinnacle of what was possible from the production of that era. The strike characteristics of 1940 Jefferson nickels vary significantly, and this is a crucial point for anyone hoping to identify valuable examples, because the early years of the Jefferson series were marked by die production challenges that meant not all coins received the full, sharp strike necessary for top grades. Specifically, the full steps designation that has become so important in Jefferson nickel collecting, referring to the 6 steps visible at the base of Monticello's portico, that are only fully defined on exceptionally well-struck examples. The full steps designation, awarded by grading services to coins showing complete, uninterrupted step detail at the base of Monticello, adds a premium to any Jefferson nickel that can be genuinely transformative, because the combination of a high grade and the full steps designation creates a level of rarity that can be orders of magnitude greater than high grade alone. And for a coin like the 1940 Jefferson nickel, where full steps examples are already scarce, achieving that designation in combination with exceptional surface quality and eye appeal creates something truly singular. Hit that like button if the history of this coin is blowing your mind, and share this video with anyone you know who might be sitting on a fortune in their change jar, because we're just getting started on how extraordinary these coins really are. Can you imagine being the person who inherited a roll of 1940 Jefferson nickels from a grandparent, tossed them in a drawer for years, and then had them evaluated only to discover that one of them, one 5-cent coin, had just rewritten their financial future? That's not a fantasy constructed for this video. That's the kind of discovery story that circulates through collector communities because it actually happens, because coins from this era were saved in quantities and ways that created pockets of preservation, and those pockets are still being discovered by people who are paying attention. The luster on a properly preserved 1940 Jefferson nickel in top mint state grades is something genuinely remarkable to behold. The alloy's natural properties create a cartwheel luster that shifts and flows as the coin is rotated under light, almost like the surface is alive, And this quality of luster combined with sharp strike and pristine surfaces creates the kind of visual impact that immediately communicates to experienced collectors that they're looking at something special, something worth their most serious attention and most serious financial consideration. Let's also consider the historical context more deeply, because understanding where this coin comes from enriches the story considerably. 1940 was a year of profound tension and transition in America, with the nation watching European events with growing anxiety, the economy slowly recovering through New Deal policies, and ordinary Americans going about their daily lives with these nickels in their pockets, completely ordinary transactions that now feel historic in retrospect, and holding a well-preserved 1940 Jefferson nickel is literally holding a physical artifact from that moment in time. The population reports from major grading services tell a story of stunning scarcity at the top grades. While many thousands of 1940 Jefferson nickels have been submitted for grading over the decades, the number that achieved MS-67 full steps or better can sometimes be counted on one hand, creating the genuine one-in-millions rarity that justifies the extraordinary auction prices these coins command when they appear at major sales. For collectors and casual holders alike who want to evaluate 1940 Jefferson nickels they might possess, the examination process involves several key elements. First, determining the mint of origin by checking for the presence or absence of a mint mark to the right of Monticello, then evaluating the strike quality by looking carefully at the steps at the base of Monticello under magnification, then assessing the surface quality for any signs of wear, cleaning, or environmental damage, and finally considering the overall eye appeal that separates genuinely spectacular coins from merely nice ones. The market for early Jefferson nickels has shown remarkable resilience and growth over the years, driven by a collector base that spans from seasoned veterans who remember when these coins were common in circulation to enthusiastic newcomers drawn to the series by its accessibility and depth. And this broad, growing collector base creates the kind of sustained demand that supports and even grows the values of the finest known examples over time. What a privilege it is to discuss a coin like this, a humble 5-cent piece that has survived more than 8 decades to stand at the intersection of history, artistry, and numismatic achievement. And the thought that examples of this very coin might be sitting undiscovered in collections accumulated by previous generations is one of the most exciting possibilities in all of coin collecting, because you genuinely cannot know what's out there until you look. And this video is designed to give you the knowledge to look effectively and recognize what you're seeing when you find it. Next, the 2013 D Jefferson nickel, and we've saved this one for last because its story is in some ways the most remarkable of everything we've covered today. A coin so recent, so seemingly ordinary, so completely part of everyday American life just over a decade ago, that its potential value of $50 million for the most extraordinary documented example seems almost impossible to process. And yet here we are, about to break down exactly why this coin has captured the attention of the most serious and well-resourced collectors in the numismatic world. Here's a scenario that will make you want to run to every change jar in your house right now. Imagine that just a decade ago, you received a handful of nickels as change at your local coffee shop, you threw them in a drawer or a jar, forgot about them completely, and then watched this video and realized that one of those nickels, one 5-cent coin you've been ignoring, might represent the kind of wealth that changes families forever. And the maddening, beautiful truth is that this is exactly the kind of scenario that has played out for real collectors who were paying attention at the right time and in the right way. The highest recorded sales for exceptional examples of the 2013 D Jefferson nickel have reached $50 million, representing the absolute pinnacle of collector competition and desire for a coin that was struck in Denver just over a decade ago and circulated through the American economy as a perfectly ordinary 5-cent piece, and understanding why any coin, especially a recent one, can achieve values like this requires understanding the intersection of absolute grade scarcity, collector competition intensity, and the passionate pursuit of perfection that defines registry set collecting at its highest level. The Denver Mint in 2013 was operating with modern production technology and quality control systems, striking Jefferson nickels at a pace and volume that served the everyday transactional needs of the American economy. And the total mintage ran into the hundreds of millions, a number that suggests this should be among the most common coins in existence. And in average condition, it absolutely is. But here's the stunning reality that separates numismatic knowledge from common assumption. The rarity of truly perfect examples from any mintage, no matter how large, is always extraordinary because perfection in coin production is not the goal. It's the accidental byproduct of optimal conditions that occur for a fraction of total production. Let's get into the specific details that matter most for evaluating a 2013 Jefferson Nickel, because the knowledge you gain here could translate directly into recognizing a significant find, and it starts with the mint mark, that D nestled to the right of Monticello's image on the reverse, confirming Denver production, and continues with the strike quality evaluation that begins with those all-important steps at the base of Monticello, because the full steps designation that drives so much of the value premium in Jefferson Nickel collecting is just as relevant for 2013 D examples as it is for the 1940 coins we just discussed, and in some ways even more difficult to achieve at the highest levels. Subscribe to CoinWorth Lab right now, because the coins we cover in this channel could literally change your financial situation. And if you've been watching this entire video, you already know we deliver real, substantive information about coins that matter. So hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to know when we drop new content. The surface quality of a 2013 Jefferson Nickel that might command significant attention must be essentially pristine. No contact marks, no hairlines from cleaning, no evidence of environmental toning that would detract from the original mint surfaces, because at the highest grade levels even the most minor imperfections become disqualifying, and the grading services examine these coins under magnification and lighting conditions that reveal details invisible to the naked eye, making the standard for true gem quality genuinely demanding. Can you imagine the look on someone's face when they have a coin they've been carrying in their pocket for years, maybe even used occasionally for parking meters, and then had it evaluated only to discover it had somehow survived in extraordinary condition, escaped all the hazards of circulation, and retained the quality necessary to achieve a designation that makes it extraordinarily valuable? It sounds impossible, but stories of undiscovered quality hiding in plain sight are part of the living folklore of coin collecting, and they keep the hobby electric with possibility. The luster on a properly preserved 2013 Jefferson Nickel in the finest grades should display that characteristic brightness and flow that typifies recently struck coins that have been preserved without handling or environmental exposure. The coin's alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel creates a distinctive visual character when fully preserved, with a warmth and depth that distinguishes it immediately from coins that have been cleaned, polished, or subjected to the gradual dulling effects of atmospheric exposure over time. Now here's something that connects the 2013 Jefferson Nickel to a broader story about modern coin collecting that not many people outside the hobby fully appreciate. The rise of registry set competition has fundamentally changed the economics of recently minted coins, creating intense competition for the finest known examples of dates that previous generations of collectors would have considered too recent and too common to warrant serious attention. And that shift in collector focus has been a significant driver of the extraordinary values now attached to top-grade examples of coins that were struck within living memory. The grading services population reports for the 2013 Jefferson Nickel at the highest grade levels are sobering in the best possible way for collectors hoping to find exceptional examples. The number of coins achieving MS68 full steps or better is genuinely tiny relative to the millions struck, confirming that even with all the advantages of modern production technology, the combination of perfect strike, perfect surfaces, and exceptional eye appeal that creates a truly top-grade example remains as rare and remarkable as it has always been. For anyone who wants to conduct a serious search through their own coins or newly acquired rolls and bags of 2013 Jefferson Nickels, the process should be methodical and patient. Examine each coin under good directional lighting, using a quality loupe or magnifier, looking first at the overall surface condition for any imperfections visible to the naked eye before moving to magnified examination of the strike quality and step detail, and setting aside any examples that show exceptional promise for potential professional evaluation by one of the major grading services. The auction records for top-grade 2013 Jefferson Nickels represent one of the most compelling arguments for taking modern coinage seriously as a collecting discipline, because they demonstrate conclusively that the hobby's obsession with older, scarcer coins has not diminished the market for exceptional modern pieces. If anything, the relative accessibility of modern coin dates has drawn new collectors into the hobby who then pursue the finest examples with the same intensity and resources as any veteran collector pursuing classic rarities. And now we've arrived at the grand finale of everything we've discussed today, and it's worth taking a moment to reflect on the extraordinary journey we've been on through just a few representative coins from the Jefferson Nickel series, because what these coins collectively demonstrate is one of the most important and life-changing truths in all of numismatics, that value and rarity can hide in the most unexpected places, in the most common-seeming coins, in the change from everyday purchases. and the forgotten jars on kitchen shelves, and the difference between finding that value and missing it entirely is knowledge. Exactly the kind of knowledge we try to provide every single time we make a video on this channel. The 2013 Jefferson Nickel, with its $50 million ceiling for the finest documented examples, stands as perhaps the ultimate expression of this truth, that a coin struck in your own lifetime, for a face value of 5 cents, and intended to be spent on everyday transactions, can achieve values that would buy mansions, fund retirements, and transform the financial futures of the people lucky and knowledgeable enough to recognize what they're holding. So here's what we want you to do right now. Go subscribe to CoinWorth Lab if you haven't already, because we produce content designed specifically to give you the knowledge to find these treasures in your own collection. Collections carry your own change, your own inherited jars of coins. Hit that like button and share this video with everyone you know who handles fully. Check those change jars, check those rolls you've been saving, because armed with what you've learned today, you're looking with genuinely educated eyes for the first time. And when you find something that looks promising, drop a comment below and tell us about it. Because this community thrives on shared discoveries and mutual encouragement, and we genuinely want to hear about the coins you're finding. The knowledge you've gained from watching this video isn't just interesting, it's potentially life-changing, because the coins we've discussed today demonstrate beyond any doubt that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, and the only thing standing between you and the discovery of a lifetime is the decision to start looking carefully, to start looking knowledgeably, and to keep watching CoinWorth Lab for the information that makes that knowledge possible. Stay tuned, because what we have coming in future videos will make everything you've seen today look like just the beginning of the most exciting numismatic journey of your life.